Hello and welcome back to my craft room. Well, I thought I was going to make a quick video this morning before I head over to Tom's, or at least do the start of a video, and I got stuck into a couple of admin things on the YouTube channel and Facebook and things, and suddenly an hour's gone by. Anyway, I'm in a bit of a rush now, but I also wanted to quickly show you. This is the dress I got the other day from Bazaar, which, you know, I just held it up to me, so I thought I'd just show you how it looks on. Yeah, I can't show you all of it, so it's, see how far back I can go. It comes down to sort of lower calf on me, but I'm quite short. Yeah, it's about 2 inches above my ankles on me, which I quite like. It's got pockets, which is lovely. Just feels lovely on. I really like it. Really happy with it. So, because a couple of people have asked me about sizing, so this is completely not what you might have clicked onto this video for, but I just wanted to mention. So size wise, this is a large. I would normally buy a 16 or even an 18, depending on the brand, because I'm a bit bigger than I should be at the moment. And this fits me, as you can see, very comfortably. They're, you know, because all of their clothes are made over in India. Jo works with the people over there that she's been working with for years. She actually designs the fabrics, and this is a block printed fabric. This is possibly one of Jo's own designs of fabric, and she designs the clothes and works closely with the people who make them. And so sometimes when you get clothes that are made in India or, you know, other parts of other Asian countries, sometimes the sizes do come small, don't they? But I think maybe because it's done kind of directly with Jo, maybe that's different. Maybe the sizing is more kind of European sizing, I don't know. But anyway, as you can see, a large, I would say, if you would normally buy 16, 18, a large is fine. And if you look on their, if you're on their website, if you're looking at one of the things in the clothing section, there's a size guide, and that seems to be very accurate. So yeah, I would say just look at that size guide. Anyway, let's go back to what I intended to do, because I haven't got very long now. Sometimes I just, you know, the best laid plans and all that. I can't seem to catch my tail at the moment. I can't do all. I'm desperately trying to catch up with all my YouTube, my fellow YouTubers' videos. I'm so behind on what everybody else is up to. I love reading all the amazing comments from people on my own YouTube videos, and I haven't even got time to reply to them all as quickly as I would like to. I will get to them all. But I'm really excited that it's only now, as I'm recording this, it's only about 3 weeks away from the Bazaar event, where we're going to Sussex in mid-August. If you watch the channel at all, you will have seen me going on about that before. Lots of lovely quilt pieces coming in. I'm going to do a video soon, making a couple of pieces of my own and starting to stitch some more of the pieces that have come in on. I'm just tacking them on, and maybe start to fill in a couple of little gaps to give you an idea of how it's all going to work. So many things. Maggie Morris month will be drawing to a close soon, and that's what I've come to work on my final piece for that today. And I'm already making plans for next month's project. So my muse next month is going to be our Viviana. You will know Viviana's work very well if you're in our Facebook group. She's also joined the Discord now, and you will see her popping up in the live chat during our streams too. Her work is just beautiful, and so I've already started to make plans for that. And one of the nice things about that is I'll be using Bazaar scraps, and so that'll tie in nicely, because I'll start it at the beginning of August, and then, you know, a couple of weeks before we go off for the Bazaar event. So lots of things going on, getting ready for the Bazaar event. There's so much to plan and get together. Very much looking forward to it. So it's just like, yeah. Plus, of course, live stuff. There's live stuff that all goes on as well. So I'm a bit I just had to go and have my BP checked this morning. It's up again. No idea why. Anyway, right. So this is my Maggie Morris piece as it's looking so far. I don't think there is a particular way up because whichever way I put it, something is upside down. So it's been inspired by, in case you haven't seen, I've got a couple of pieces that are actually made by Maggie herself. It's better to take you under the desk camera to show you. So let's get, we don't need my Bazaar. So these are the beautiful Maggie pieces, and I've got some of the same fabric. And I've been not slavishly copying what she's done, but very much being inspired by it. And where I'm a bit stuck with a certain area, I'm having a look at what she's done in that area and just sort of, yeah, learning from her and being inspired by her beautiful work. So I thought I've made my piece as a big circle. I will link to the video where I started on this project. The idea is that in the end this will make what I'm calling a gather up, grab and go bag kind of project, a bag where you can lay it out all flat, dump everything you want to take with you into the middle and then draw, and then it all gathers up into a little neat pouch with a flap over. That's what I'm going to do. You might have seen those bags. I cut it out and started some of the stitching with you last time, so this time I thought I'd do a little bit more of the stitching so that I can finish this project up for the end of the month, because at the end of the month I've got to come back up now. At the end of the month, well, the beginning of the next month, the next live stream, we do not the Whip and Waffle Wednesdays, which we do every week. I'm talking about the monthly Saturday night in. We do it on the first Saturday of every month. It's 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. UK time. So this next one will be the 2nd of August. And it's a good time to kind of celebrate this wonderful, colourful month that has been inspired by Aunt Maggie. And I have got some beautiful things to give away. I'm going to give one of these pieces away. And also one of Maggie's scrolls, her own work. So this is I've got 3 pieces of Maggie's own work and another piece that would make a beautiful needlework or something like that. And also I'm going to make up some packs of fabrics, so the little fabrics that I haven't got my scroll with me that I used to make my Maggie inspired scroll. I've got enough to make up some fabric packs, 3 maybe 4 packs. And also I've got some, thanks to the generosity of Maggie and Jen, I've got some of this fabric that I'm using for this project. I've got some of that, so the packs will have a generous piece of that and some of the smaller scraps in that I use to make my scroll, because they were all sent to me by Maggie as well. So let's do a bit of stitching. Okay, so this is the area I was working on last time. I think I've sort of done as much as I want to with that. I changed this a little bit. I'm not sure if I showed that last time or not. I've still got my leaves to do down there actually. I've finished doing my eyelashes, as I called them, along here, and then another bit I've done since is, so yeah, I did the little lines of chain stitch there and the eyelashes, which is just blanket stitch. And then I've done, I've followed the lines in the pattern here with a back stitch, which I then whipped. Here a little bit of lazy daisy, French knots in all the dots. I could do a little bit of them with you because I've got some. What I've done is I've done little parts of each area and then left part of it undone so I can carry on and finish it off with you. So I might do a bit of that one in a minute. It's just lazy daisies and chain stitches. Again, nothing complicated. This stitch here is just a combination of straight stitches which I've then woven in and out of. It's a thing that Maggie does quite a bit, and it was Maggie that first explained to me how to do that. So I've finished off that part of it, but I can do a bit more of that down here, so I can do that with you. I've done this line of chain stitching with some little extra chains to make the leaves and lazy daisies around here. So that's basically all chain stitch. More whipped back stitch there, lines of chain stitch. It's just, it's all just really simple. Chain stitch around the strawberries, little detached chains to make the strawberry seeds. I've got space to do a little bit more of them. I think I'll just do chain stitches for the leaves here, but the other strawberries down here, I've done what I call a leaf stitch, so I'll do a bit of that with you in a minute as well. Seed stitches there, chain, back stitch, French knots. It's just really, it's the same, it's just a handful of stitches, all very simple stitches that I'm using. And this morning I've just started doing a little bit on this border, kind of copying what Maggie has done, but I'm using different colours really. So I'll do a bit of that with you as well. Quite like the effect of that. I've filled these lines with straight stitches because I'm going to do a kind of net effect that I've seen Maggie do, where you then weave in and out of these. So I've got the straight stitch part done, so I'll do the weaving part with you in a minute. This is just like an eyelet stitch or blanket stitch done in a circle. This is just blanket stitch that I've kind of extended to fill the space. A bit like, where is it? Where have you gone? A bit like expanding the chain stitch to fill this shape here, which I did it in the last video. Did the same thing with a blanket stitch in here. Going through a lot of my thread. I think by the time I finish this, I'm going to be out of perlé threads. That's okay, it's an excuse to buy some more. Okay, so where shall we start? Let's do a little bit on this one. Mostly I wanted to use, I wanted the brighter colours, so I'm trying to use up some of these paler colours where I can to make sure I've got enough thread to finish the project. But I did think the paler pink shows up quite nicely against the dark pink, so it's a good chance to use that. I've used this same needle throughout the whole project so far. It's a crewel needle in a size, I think it was a size 20. I got a set of 18, 20 and 22. So let's start from the other end and meet myself in the middle, shall I? I'm coming up where I want to start, and I'm just going to do a very simple chain stitch following that paler pink line there. I use the last of my rainbow variegated thread to just run some straight stitches back and forth on here. I've just done straight stitches on this one as well, just like simple canter stitching, because looking at Maggie's piece I realised that there were some areas that are just plain straight stitching, and I think you need that sort of little bit of relief for your eye to set everything else off. You don't need to be sort of, Maggie and I both love to follow the pattern that's printed on a piece of fabric, but you don't have to follow every bit of pattern. You can just straight stitch over some of it. It has surprised me how many hours I've spent on this, but they're very happy, very relaxed hours, so I'm just sort of a bit conscious now that I want to have this project finished by the end of this month. I'll be getting to see Maggie in person again soon at the Bazaar event, along with Marion, who I met up with there for the first time last year, and Granny Sue, and her granddaughter Jess, and Lucy, and Kaz, all the way from Australia. I think Kaz is staying the nearest to me. She's just up the road from me in another Airbnb, and I've extended my stay a bit to have a little bit more time, and I thought As Cass is coming all the way from Australia, I want to show her a good time. So we're going down to Brighton on the Monday on the train. That'll be fun. I've never actually been to Brighton before. Brighton's one of those, if you're not aware, if you're not in the UK, it's one of those kind of traditional seaside towns. And I think, you know, when I was a kid, I used to think of it as somewhere that families and old people went. But these days it's got a very different kind of reputation. It's quite young and fun and vibrant. Lots of culture going on there. Lots of history too. Lots of theatre and music. Yeah, I think it'll be a really fun day out, and it's just going on the train is quite an adventure in itself. It's not far from where we are. It won't take us too long. I think less than an hour on the train from where we're staying. But one of the things I must do this week is look into tickets for that, train tickets, and taxis to and from the station, and what kind of thing. Everybody's been very kind in offering lifts while they're there. But I think by that Monday, I think it's only going to be me and Kaz left. And I thought it'd be nice if she doesn't have to drive that day. So that's that little bit. Now the next thing I did there was this part, and that's just a variation on a blanket stitch. I've just varied the length of the stitch to fit the space that I'm filling. So here's the this is where I'm doing the blanket stitch, and instead of doing all of the legs of the blanket stitch the same length, I'm just taking the legs right down to the edge of the scallop. To sort of fill that space in. Okay, so that's how I did that bit. What I'll do now, I've run out of the variegated thread, and I've got a little area here that I still need to do some of the straight stitching on, so I'll just end up using whatever thread I've got left. It might end up being the pale pink, just to fill in the last little bit of straight stitching there. So the other thing I've got here is this bit with the flowers, so let's do a little bit of that. This bit to finish off in a minute. I've just left little bits to finish off so I can show you how I've done each section really, but there's nothing fancy. What was I doing? Oh yes, the flowers. So I've just put 3 of the little lazy daisy stitches on each side there, so let's put these last 2 on this flower. Oops. So for anybody that's watching that doesn't know, lazy daisy stitches are just like little detached chain stitches really. You just do it just like you're going to do a chain stitch, but instead of carrying on the chain, you take your thread back to the centre, or in this case I'm going to go to the centre of the next flower. So normally with a lazy daisy you go around in a complete circle, but I'm just doing it like this to follow the pattern that's there really. I could have made it a complete flower, but I decided I didn't need to. And I'm getting a little bit precious about the thread now, because I do not want to run out before I finish this project. That would be such a shame. I then had to wait for more thread to come before I could finish. So yeah, you just keep... I didn't do that one very well, but that's okay. You just keep going back to the centre. Oh, actually what I did before was do this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and I've done it differently this time, but it doesn't matter. This is not fine embroidery, this is not perfection, this is slow stitching that you do to relax. I mean, to be fair, proper embroidery is very relaxing to do as well, but I think for lots of us, I think we found that discovering slow stitching, I think it's liberating, because there are kind of no rules with it, and no perfection needed. Don't get me wrong, I do actually quite enjoy the challenge of what I call proper embroidery, trying to make a tidy backside. And form my stitches in a uniform way, and that kind of thing. You could, if you wanted to, you could put this in a hoop or frame. It might be easier. I tend to prefer, when I'm doing slow stitching, I tend to prefer to just have it loose in my lap like this. Yeah, I tend to just want it sort of loose in my lap. But having said that, I did notice that where all my straight stitching is, it's a lot more sort of crinkly than Maggie's looks. So if you look, let's find the same area on hers. Here we are. If you look at Maggie's here, this is lying flatter and smoother. Her stitching is better. Her back stitching is much more accurate than mine. I think that's a case of lots and lots of practice over the years at doing this kind of thing. I think she's probably being more careful about smoothing it out and easing the tension of it, like you do when you do sashiko. You do that. There's a word for it. It's a Japanese word for it, where you do that, smooth it along, or just not pulling too tight in the first place. Maybe with practice I would get better at doing that. You can see differences, like here. You can see differences but similarities in what we've done. Or I've used some of the same techniques but in different areas. So I didn't want to end up with like completely just copying Maggie's piece, To form the stem that runs down here in the leaf, it was just the same. It's just I've just done a straight stitch in the lime green for all of the stems, and then for the leaves I'll go back to my variegated green, I think, and just do little detached chains, lazy daisies, whatever you want to call them, in the green for the leaves. So probably don't need to see any more of that. I'm going to do a bit of a spoiler now, which I was going to keep as a surprise, but I'm so excited about it. So this little needle threader that I'm using, you might recognise this style of needle threader if you've been with me for a while. It's the ones that went on the whatnot, went in with the whatnot kits when we all had whatnot fever a couple of years ago. It wasn't me that coined the term whatnot fever. I think that was Annie Cron that called it that. Anyway, they're very handy, these, when you're using the larger eye needles and larger threads. I've also got this one for finer threads, but these are really handy when you're using these thicker threads in these big needles like I like to use for slow stitching. And this little thing, this little humbug, is a bit like the danglers we were making just recently out of all the Bazaar scraps, if you remember. This one was a prototype for a little special surprise, which we'll be giving out to the people who come and join us at the Slow Stitching Corner at the Bazaar event. No idea how many we needed to make, how many people are likely to show up or want to join in with us, but thought it would be nice, even if it's only the first few people get them. Anyway, Marion, Granny Sue and Maggie Morris have all made some little humbugs with needle threaders out of their scraps, whatever scraps they've got. So we'll have lots. We'll have a nice big basket full of them to do as little take-home keepsake gifts for the people who join us at the event, which is going to be so lovely. And it's really kind of the ladies to do that for me. Take that off my plate so I can focus on getting I need to get all of the pieces stitched onto the quilt ready, and possibly start part of the kind of fill in the gaps, patching, blending with stitches part of the quilt started at least. I need to get all the pieces tacked on, and I need to kind of make a little start at the patching and blending process, which we will probably continue to work on during the event. So that's really nice that they've freed me up to focus on that. I might also see if I can get some scheduled videos in the bag. I'm trying to get ahead of myself enough that my channel members get to see all of the videos before they go public and before the adverts get turned on. Just as a little special thank you to them, you know, a little extra perk for them. I do it with some of the videos, but I don't, not all of them at the moment. I'd like to get to the point where all of them are that way. I have had some comments recently about adverts on the YouTube videos, and people getting irritated by them, but I can only say that, you know, it's a free streaming platform. You can choose to pay for YouTube. You know, it's quite competitive with things like Netflix. If you watch it as much as I do, it's probably worth it. And then you don't get any advertising at all. But in fact, people aren't always aware, the creators, like me, if you've got YouTube Premium, it's called, you won't see the ads, but the creators will still get revenue as if you did watch the ads, which is interesting. Yeah, I just think, I mean, I haven't got YouTube Premium, Tom has. It is irritating sometimes, but they've got to make their money somehow, YouTube, haven't they? It's not, you know, it's not a charity. I think we're all used to having to either watch adverts or pay for a streaming service these days, and a lot of us do really, really enjoy YouTube. Let's go up to this other strawberry now while I've still got thread left. Yeah, I mean, I watch mostly YouTube and Netflix. I don't watch, and I watch some Prime Video because I've got Amazon Prime. Well, I got it mainly to have free deliveries and things, but you do get Prime Video as well. So I watch that, but not quite as much. But yeah, they're all either paid for or you get a lot of advertising. And actually, I've noticed these days with some of the paid, I'm certainly with Prime Video, I mean, I pay quite a lot for Amazon Prime, but they still advertise unless you pay extra. So yeah, it's not unusual. I think people are noticing it because they are putting out more ads now. But I've activated the mid-roll ads. I could choose not to do that, you know, full disclosure. I have activated the mid-roll ads, and then I haven't got any control over how many. You know, you've either got mid-roll ads or you haven't. And to be honest, in making no bones about it, I do get extra revenue from that, and I can't really afford to turn that away. So I'm really sorry if it bugs you and spoils your enjoyment of my videos. I feel bad about it, but I can understand YouTube's point of view. And you know, for my channel members, so that's not people who are subscribed. Subscribing is different. Subscribing, you just press a button and you're subscribed. That's it. You don't pay anything. You don't have to give any information. Nothing. Channel members pay $2.99 a month for my channel. It varies. Different people do different things. I've just got one tier, and it's $2.99 a month. And I'm trying to introduce more little channel members perks, just as a thank you, really. And one of those is, so it's different things. I prioritise their comments, so if I'm behind in answering my comments, members get answered first. We've got custom emojis that Tom designs that channel members can use. There's 100% discount on items in my Gumroad shop. Although, to be fair, at the moment most of my Gumroad items are free anyway, but there are a couple of things, and there will be more. So the Scrappy Seagull and Corvid are paid patterns, so you can get them free. So it's free, 100% discount. And the other thing, which is why I started talking about it, is that I'm trying to show more of my videos before they go public as members only, before the ads go on. So members have a couple of days to watch my videos without the ads before they go public, basically. So members, I promise you, I'm working towards getting all of the videos. Once I catch my tail a bit, putting all of my videos out a bit early so that you can benefit from that. But yeah, if you're not a member, I can only say, well, You just have to get philosophical about the ads there. You don't have to watch them. I use them as an opportunity to go in there, make a cup of coffee or have a wee. Anyway, I've just heard that doorbell and that's made me look at the time and realise that I'm going to be getting picked up in a minute. That might even be my lift. Arrived early, so I'm going to go now and I'll come back later. Right, I'm back from Tom's now and can't remember where I got to, but I've threaded my needle with a bit of red and I'm going to carry on working around this strawberry, and then I think I'll do some seed stitching into the orange fruits, whatever they are. We've had some torrential rain here the last couple of days, but it seems to have come out scorchier again now. I bought some nice tops to go with my Bazaar skirt that I bought that arrived just recently. It'd be nice to have some nice new things to wear when I go to Sussex, and I just tried them all on. Well chuffed on myself that one of the tops said it was a size 10, but it fitted me perfectly. I thought, well, it's obviously a very generous size. Yeah, then I read the label again and realised it's maternity. But I don't care, I love it. I'm going to wear it anyway, and hopefully no one will recognise it as maternity top. But I don't really care if they do. Let's come down to here. This is the sort of pattern I work in. I just while I've got this colour thread in my needle, I just look around to see where else I might use it. Let's go over to here, do the seed stitching in this one. You can see how this just kind of hooks you in, this kind of quiet, just doodle stitching. Just hooks you in. You just don't want to stop. See how far I can go without having to either fasten off or re-thread my needle. I could decide to take this red thread down here now, start doing something down here, just to finish off the thread. Let's just do a simple line of running stitch along there. So I've seen quite a few people mention that they managed to get hold of some of this fabric. I know that I already knew that we could get it here in the UK via Amazon. I wasn't sure about other countries, but somebody mentioned they did get it in the States, so that's good. So if you're outside of the UK or the States and you've managed to get hold of it, please let me know so I can pass it on, or just mention it in the comments so that everybody knows. Oh look, I've managed to get all the way to the end of that line with that one piece of thread. Marvellous. I'll do a chain stitch these top bits. And then into a back stitch for the outline. They look like little space hoppers. I think they're meant to be some kind of fruit, probably. Over to the other side. I found when I was doing a lot of straight stitching last night, I started having a go at using my my left hand to go in that direction, right hand to go in that direction. And it was saving having to keep turning the fabric, so I'm going to keep practicing doing that because I think it'd be really useful. And then when I find that I sometimes get pain in my knuckles and my wrist if I've been doing a lot of stitching, that happens and I could switch to my left hand. It would be really useful. I was most impressed recently when Nikki Masterton, who you may know from our if you're on our Facebook group. She won a beautiful print of an original painting from Gabby Chic Dolls. You will also know Gabby. And then Nikki donated a print of one of her own paintings for the next giveaway, which is really sweet of her. And it was wonderful. It was a wonderful piece, and she had done it. The reason I'm going on about it, I'm in the wrong stitch here, aren't I? She had done it with her non-dominant hand. A long-term problem with her right hand. She's right-handed, so she did this amazing piece with her left hand. I couldn't believe it. So impressed. It was so detailed and beautifully done. I can do it with my best hand, let alone my non-dominant hand. So yeah, that's that. And now I would go straight over. I'm carrying it right across the back, making sure I don't put it too tight. If I don't want to do this and pucker it up, obviously, but I'm carrying it across the back rather than fastening off because I'm lazy like that. And now I'll carry on to this next one. I might just have enough. I don't think so. I've got a feeling I'm going to run out before the end of this little stalk, but let's see. Does anybody else have that real reluctance to give in, fasten off a piece of thread and start a new one? I'm actually going to end this here rather than bother to do that. There we go, just about made it. And then I've got last few little pink star stitches to do. A little bit of chain stitch there with the variegated pink. So right, let's go straight into this one, get him finished. So it's a little bit I'm doing a little bit butterfly pinball with this, just popping around it, working on whichever bit catches my eye, keep on working on it until I fancy a change, and then I move to another area. So whenever I get to a point where I'm not sure what to do next, what colour to pick, what stitch to use, I have another look at Maggie's piece. So I'm very lucky to have that by me. But really this fabric is such a perfect way to practice this technique because of all the different colours and patterns in it. If you don't like layering colours and patterns together, then you might not enjoy it so much, but you could definitely do the same techniques with a more subtle colourway or pattern, you know. Definitely. I'm going to continue this chain stitch here. I'm going to continue all the way around there later on. So I did lots of little seed stitches, the same as these I did in here, in a sort of deeper yellow colour. Just give that a bit more interest, and that was, let me show you Maggie's version. Here we go. Yeah, so she's done it in that kind of limey green. So you can see sort of similarities and differences in what we've done there. I'm going to continue this line of chain stitching down here, keeping closely next to the line of back stitch in orange that I've already done. So I'm just doing a cross stitch and then another cross stitch over the top. That's sort of going diagonally instead of straight on, if that makes sense. Doesn't make sense. Yeah. So I'm sort of doing a cross like that and then turning it 90 degrees and doing another cross over the top to make the star shape. Don't like the feeling of having to be a little bit careful with my threads and worrying that I'm going to run out of certain colours before the end of this project. like to feel free to use whatever colours. If need be though, I'll just start using stranded cottons. I'll use 3 or 4 strands to get a similar thickness. It won't have quite the same effect, but it'll work. Okay, so that's that bit done. All of this is filled in now, except for the seed stitching. I'll do more of that later on, off camera. I've used the variegated yellow to do a variation of a blanket stitch here. Well, I thought I'd just do a little bit of that with you. The only reason it's a variation is that I've just arranged it so that the legs, the black is left clear and the legs are just stitched into the white parts of that black and white border you can see there. That last stitch that I finished on to start a new bit of threading, and see I ran out annoyingly near the end, so I'm skipping over the black part of that border and I'm going to do a couple of blanket stitches into the white area. So the first one and another one, and the pattern's a little bit skew with, so it's all coming out a bit wonky, but as I say, embrace the wonk. Another one. I could even put 3 into that one actually. I'm just leaving the black clear because I think that little pop of contrast is quite nice. Here we go, and then I'll take my thread to the back there and I will use up the rest of this variegated yellow doing more of these random stitches around here. These aren't really quite seed stitches because they're not all going in different directions like that. They're more sort of following some of the contours of the pattern, but a bit random. So I'll come back to more of that later. I will probably also do a line of yellow along here. That would look quite nice. Just again have a look at what Maggie did in that area so you can get a different idea. So in this same area, so she did her blanket stitch. She left the black and white border clear and did the blanket stitch more coming out into the pink, which is nice. And then she's done these stars across this part of the stem, which I think is quite nice. I might do that too. And I like how she's outlined these black shapes in the middle and then done the pink and orange here in backstitch around the leaf outline. So I'm going to do pretty much what Maggie has done there, except I've done a heavier chain stitch around the whole outline, and I will do that again. And I think I'm going to carry my outline up the stem as well. So I will be doing that later. There are 2 different things that Maggie has done with, I'm looking at this area along here. On this little piece, I'm going to do something similar to this. So I'll do that with you in a minute. And this one, there are a couple of different ways that Maggie handled that area. So this one, she's run a back stitch along there, she's done a cross stitch in the white areas and then run a little stitch across it, which I quite like the look of. Here she's done a bit like I did just now with that yellow around there. That's what Maggie's done here really. She's following, she's making the little legs of the blanket stitch match the pattern in the fabric. I can't possibly stitch all of this with you, or I'm not going to finish this for the end of the month. I want to finish it before we've done the giveaway, before we do the giveaway. I think maybe I've already been stitching such a long time. I think maybe what I'll do is go through some of the things, have a closer look at some of the ways that Maggie has done some of these areas, because I think that's what you'll probably find the most useful. I think I'm going to though stitch that kind of net part that I mentioned and that border stitch. I like these little circles. Those are just a blanket stitch, sort of arranged in a circle with a French knot in the middle. So to do this one, let's see if I can remember it now. I'm going to bring my thread out just above that first stitch on the right there. So I've just done rows and rows of straight stitches, and I've tried to make them sort of line up. I can't describe it verbally. I'm just going to show you what I'm doing and hope that it makes sense. And it looks better once you start to do more rows. The pattern forms and starts to make sense. Where I can see I've skipped every other one along there. And I think I'll just take this now to the back. And I'm moving down a row. Is there any that Maggie's done on one of these pieces? Last time I did this one, it was quite successful, but I had an example in front of me. So here's the scroll I made, inspired by Maggie. This is the effect I'm after. This sort of net effect here. So I've done it wrong. Did I do any more of it anywhere? Yes, I've done it there as well. Okay, I'm going to keep that in front of me and see if I can manage to follow my own stitching. Okay, I've worked out what I've done wrong. I've done the running stitches in columns all the way down. I should have done one row of stitches, and then the next row of stitches should have gone between the first row of stitches. So I've done it wrong. So okay, let's see what we can do with this. I'm not going to even try and explain what I'm doing because I think my brain has melted now. I think it'll be fine. I'll just pretend I did it on purpose. Yeah, that's annoying. So yeah, really, what I'm going to do is kind of draw what I mean. I think. Hang on. What I should have done is the first row of stitches like this, and then the second row of stitches, instead of putting them underneath each other like I did very carefully, I should have put them between each other like that. And then the next row lining up with the first row again, and the next row lining up with the second row. There you go. So I should have done it like that, and then you run your thread down here, up there, down here, up there, down here, up there, all the way along, and then on the next row you do this all the way along. It's ever so simple. You just need to stop with your straight stitches in the right pattern. And you can see you get that lovely where is it? You get that lovely net effect. That was it, with the rows quite far apart, and in this one I put the rows closer together, which I like to look of better, and I like them with the French knots in between them as well. I think that's really cute. So yeah, do as I said, not as I did. There we go, just about finished it. So yeah, it's not what I planned, but I quite like it. I think the fact it's a little bit of a bigger shape is quite nice. I think I probably will want to put a pop of some sort of colour in there. And I could add beads or sequins or whatever. I know somebody did leave it. I think more than one person left a comment saying put some beads or sequins on, and indeed I could do. It would be my usual habit would be to put sequins on. But I was being inspired by Maggie, and it's not a thing I've seen her do a lot, not in the pieces I've got anyway. So I was really wanting to do what I could do just with the colourful fabric and threads. So I'm just going to do one more thing, that border here, and then I'm going to stop with the stitching, I think, because see, I could make this a weeks and weeks long series just working on this piece, but I don't know how much people would want to watch that. My aim is to finish up this last project before the end of the month, and then we can have our big celebration giveaway, have my gather up grab and go bag all done and dusted. So I think I'm going to show how to do that little border stitch that I think is so cute in this little piece here. It'll work fine there. I love that I've got all of these border pieces here to try little different ideas. There's a few different ways of doing it there. I love this border that Maggie's created. I love the look of this. I think this section here is gorgeous, and it's just, that's a back stitch, a couple of running stitches, 3 rows of running stitch there, and a blanket stitch, and then more back stitch. So simple, but look how striking that is, and I wish you could feel it with me. And these just with the straight stitch, brilliant. I like how just having straight stitch all over here but leaving it off of these hearts really makes those hearts pop, so I'm definitely going to be doing that as well. Yeah, I kind of feel like because this like net effect has turned out much bigger, it needs that pop of pink. I will either, or some other bright colour, I would either put like a French knot in the middle, or I might just put a little stitch across here, across the intersections. I think that could be fun as well. I'm going to put a line of running stitch along this edge and another line of running stitch along that edge, and I want the stitches to line up with each other. It can be a little bit difficult on a curved shape, so I found with this one I was having to make the running stitches along the outer edge slightly bigger because of the curve. In this case I think I'm just going to follow the stripe pattern, so that makes it really easy. So I'm going to run along both of these edges with my running stitch, just following the pattern that's there. Across to the other side, turn my work, and I'm going to go all the way back along in exactly the same way. It'll come out as if I've threaded it through here. So I've come down through there, and now I'm going up through here. Up. Down. I'm going to do this all the way to the end. I mean, already I think that looks quite nice already, but now what I'm going to do is come back the other way, start going across down to the next one. Now I'm going down where I went up and up where I went down, all the way along. So it makes this little kind of chain, and obviously you can vary the dimensions of this stitch, you know, how close those first running stitches are together, how big they are, the thicknesses of the two different threads are, how wide apart the initial rows of stitching are. You can put a little stitch in the spaces that you create in the middle, a little dot into each one, or a little cross into each one, or whatever. You see, it's quite a cute little stitch just like this, and you can definitely play with it. And one of the things I like that Maggie, one of the many things I like that Maggie does, is that she will take quite simple stitches, combinations of stitches, really this is a combination, isn't it? And then she just plays with them to get different effects and little fun details. I'm just going to finish that off there because this bit this will be all stitched in anyway. I'm starting to think as time goes on here, I'm not going to be able to cover what I thought I was in this video. I think I'm going to finish up my stitching in a moment and come back in the next video, show you like little close-ups of what I've done, and then put the bag together to finish it up, rather than make this one like 3 hours long or something. Just wanted to do a little bit of this border here because I just think this is going to be so pretty. Maggie did it in like a rainbow variegated thread, and I don't have any of that left, so I've gone with this pink variegated. I've put a chunky French knot, just used a bit of one of the fatter threads, put a chunky French knot inside each one of these. All I'm doing is making a detached chain. Oh, I didn't make my knot, I pulled it right through. I'm doing a detached chain stitch between each of these little arch shapes in the pattern. And I'm coming along to the centre of that arch. Oops, twisted that one. And then going back, so it's kind of like a back stitch, but a large back stitch. And now I'm going along to the centre of the arch again, coming up, doing a little detached chain. So once you get into the rhythm of it, it's very easy. Down there, up here, back to there, forward to there, between the arches, underneath the arches, and you can see that's actually quite quick to do. I've missed a gap there. Left a gap there. Look, that's okay. Just come back and cover it. It's fine. I'm not going to angst about this. Later on I'll finish that off. I'll perhaps choose the lime green and just do a little zigzag along here to sort of follow the arch shapes. There's so many, I could just keep going and going. I was going to show how I did this leaf stitch, but it's so simple. I have shown it before. Or if you didn't want to do that, you could just do bigger, chunkier lazy daisies instead. So I think I'm going to have to stop there because I could just go on and on and on. I'll come back really soon, like in a couple of days. I'm not going to leave it long because this does need finishing up now, and show you the completed piece and how it's going to go together into a bag, and give you the details about how to enter the giveaway if you would like to. Now I think if you've if you've stuck with me all the way through this video, you deserve to be in with a chance of winning one of those beautiful prizes for sure. If you are one of my regular peeps and you're not going to be able to make it for the live stream on Saturday the 2nd of August between 8 PM and 10 PM UK time, and you would like to enter the giveaway, please let me know. Email me. If you're in Discord, you can PM me in Discord, or email me. In the description box you'll find my link tree. Click on the link tree, you'll find my email there. Let me know that you're not going to be able to join us, but you'd like to throw your name in the hat for the giveaway, and I'll be happy to do that for you. I don't want people missing out just because they can't make it through a live when they're watching my videos all the time. It's not fair. That's it for this video today. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you again really soon. Bye. Oh, I'm so hot. I'm so hot.